if you notice that the assistant coaches are the ones that are doing the recruiting, all right? You don't see the head coach until they've convinced the head coach, this is a kid we need in our program. You need to come watch him or her. Each assistant coach is recruiting different kids. So when those scholarship offers are given out, that's like a win for that assistant coach, all right? So when you get to school or your kid gets to school, they need to make sure that they are doing everything possible to, follow all the rules, stay in line, get on the court, produce, come to practice, be all in, locked in, because you will have a situation, and I've seen it, you will have a situation where if everybody on the team and the coaching staff isn't on the same page, you can have assistant coaches talking bad about one kid to try to get a kid they recruited into that spot.
Children are being recruited. They've got coaches calling them. How did you help them to kind of deal with those?
Funny story. I had a friend of mine that was like, hey man, your daughter's pretty good, man. Don hadn't reached out to her yet. Now, back when she was younger, Don, there's a good young group of girls. I'm gonna go watch them and I'm gonna pay attention to them until you get to a point where you go, all right, well, maybe not, But I tell my friend was like, yo, Don hadn't reached out about it. I said, man, look, my daughter's chances of playing at USC were over that day that Asia Wilson signed there. I said, the day that Asia Wilson signed it, that was a wrap. Yeah. There wasn't gonna be no more middle of the rung. You the best in South Carolina. Nah, you had to be top tier, All American. Hey, now I mean that's how it's supposed to go.
And but, you almost had to be 6'3" or 6'4".
Man, have you seen that team this year? Huge. Bro, they are long, man. Yeah. But we just had honest conversations with our kids, man. Yeah. We had honest conversations. If you want to get to this level, then this is where you have to be. We had honest conversations. It wasn't no sugarcoating anything. Once you got to the point where, talent started showing itself, you go to an AAU game, right? And you got a kid that's Ja Morant, and Williamson, DG, like when you go into a gym and you see them playing, then you understand like, okay, I need to realize what's really going on here. All right. Now, you have some parents walk into the gym and see people getting down like that. We walked into an Under Armour tournament with Anala and them, and we went and got to watch Juju Watkins play. And you looking at that and you going, we were in an organization that had Malaysia Full-Wiley and Ashland Watkins in it. You look at them and you go, Laura McQueen. You look at them and you go, okay, this is the bar. This is where you have to have real conversations. And a lot of parents don't want to have those real conversations, man. Mike, real conversations set it all in line, man. Yeah. Real conversation.
Coach, when your children made it to college, they're on the team, they've got the jerseys, they got all the gear now, and they get there in that first year. How did you help them to adjust to the collegiate level? And were you, as a parent, heavily involved with the coaches? Did you talk to the coaches much once they got on campus and they were integrated into the athletic system?
Again, it was two different things. With my son, again, it was our first time going through the process, and he was at Campbell. One thing, being a coach, having coached my kids, having watched all the games, having broken down film, doing all that stuff with them, you know who your kids are. So, and I thought I had a pretty good rapport with the coaches that recruited him. And notice how I said thought. So, I think they played a few games, and it was one game we all went to. I could tell I don't want to really talk bad about anybody or anything, so I'm gonna just give you situations. There was a game that he didn't really play much in, and I'm looking and I'm thinking, but it's not this is my kid. I know that he probably should be playing in this instance. What's going? I asked the coaches after the game, and they were talking about that, man, what's going on with him? Like, is he not doing something that he needs to do to be out there with you guys, helping you guys win or helping you guys play? And They just say this, that, and the third, to, move you along, but not realizing like, hey man, I'm actually coaching at a level. I'm coaching at a level that I see what's going on, man. Like I can actually, like if I was sitting down there on the bench with y'all, I probably could be like, hey man, we might want to do this, and it might have helped you out, type. So with him, I tried to stay out. Tried to stay out of the way as much as I could, and then it got to a point where it just went bad one time. And not to say that I acted out of character or anything. No, it wasn't like that. But it was more so like, hey man, you need to have a conversation. What's going on with you? I'm asking the coaches like, yo, what? I mean, like I know my kid, so like, what is it? If he's doing something, let me know, and I'll probably be able to talk to him and talk him from wherever he is to where you need him to be or whatever, But it just got to the point where I don't think we were dealing with people that all the way knew how to get the best out of every kid that they had. It was like, hey, my way or the highway type. So he winds up at UCM out of Missouri and has like some of the best the college experiences of his life.
Wow.
He winds up, playing on a team where the coaches actually let him go ahead and cut loose. He's playing on a team where they recognize that. I mean, Campbell recognized he could play defense, but this team was like, hey man, he's their best player. You're guarding him. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that much politics involved in it. And, we could talk a little later on about all the politics that was behind it and all, but I think he wound up somewhere that he really felt his teammates, and it was good because he still talks about that team to this day. Like he had a great time there.
I've wondered this myself, and because our daughter went through something similar as well. And I did wonder, my wife and I talked about this at certain points, do boosters and certain alumni get involved behind the scenes and they're whispering to the coaches, and we don't know the whole story, and they're reluctant to say because at the end of the day, as you alluded to earlier, it's about the money.
Yeah.
They trying to get paid. They trying to go from whatever school they're at as a coach. They're trying to go from whatever college they're at now to, that D1,
Next level.
with that next level for them. So you think some of that plays a part in not necessarily our children, but in the world.
Now, of course, everybody want to sell tickets. Everybody want to, take it to the next level, what have you. I think this is a jewel I'm gonna drop, and everybody needs to pay attention to this one. If you notice that the assistant coaches are the ones that are doing the recruiting, all right? You don't see the head coach until they've convinced the head coach, this is a kid we need in our program. You need to come watch him or her. Each assistant coach is recruiting different kids. So when those scholarship offers are given out, that's like a win for that assistant coach, all right? So when you get to school or your kid gets to school, they need to make sure that they are doing everything possible to, follow all the rules, stay in line, get on the court, produce, come to practice, be all in, locked in, because you will have a situation, and I've seen it, you will have a situation where if everybody on the team and the coaching staff isn't on the same page, you can have assistant coaches talking bad about one kid to try to get a kid they recruited into that spot. And I've seen it happen, man. So when you get to school, parents, follow up with your assistant coach, parents, tell your kid to go do what they got to do. Because if everybody's not on the same page and everybody's got their own agenda, because a lot of you would notice a lot of teams, I won't say a lot, some teams out there just have people on the staff that are trying to get to the next level. And that goes all the way from the assistant coaches up to the head coach. They're just trying to get to that next job. A lot of them don't realize, like, bro, if you just win, you'll get there. You don't got to play politics. You'll get there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Two more questions I want to ask you before we wrap up. So your son finishes college. At what point did he realize, at what point did he wanted to go to the next level? Did the opportunity just come for him to play overseas, or did he pursue it? How did all of that come to fruition, and how did you all navigate that?
He always wanted to play at the next level. And at one point, while he was at Campbell, he looked as if though he was going to be that next guy on their team. Was it his junior year, beginning of his junior year? Chris Clemens had graduated, going on to Houston. Got drafted by Houston. Jacour comes out the first week of the season, and he's Big South Player of the Year for the first week of the season. Like, he rolls an ankle, and it puts him out for like a week. He comes back, they're playing, and he rolls his other ankle, and he's down for like another. And it was like the coaches was like, man, we're gonna go ahead and look past him. We're gonna go ahead and if he gets back, he doesn't. We're just gonna keep rolling. But we always knew then, we're like, hold up, man, this little boy can play. He can go. And once he got to UCM and was playing, it was always talks about it. So when he got to the point where was ready to graduate, I made a phone call to a couple people to try to find him an agent that could get him over there. And when he found the agent got him over there, and he's been going ever since.
Good. That's good stuff. One last question, and then we'll wrap up from here. But what are your thoughts on the landscape of the transfer portal now in college sports?
All right, it's a good and it's a bad thing at the same time. And I mean, you got to take the good with the bad, the yin and the yang. Everything offsets. In some instances, first of all, I think it's great for kids that need to move on. I know when Jacour was leaving Campbell, there was a lot of things up in the air about the transfer portal. And by the time he signed with UCM, like, all the votes hadn't come in on whether they were going to let people transfer and play the same year or not. So he couldn't go to a D1 school, but a lot of D1 schools wanted him. Like, he was going to wind up playing like upper level. A lot of schools wanted him. He only had 1 year eligibility left. He wasn't able to transfer to one of those bigger schools because they didn't want to have him sit out a year, give him a 2, and then they wanted him to be able to come and play right now. So after he gets to UCM, everything works out and people are able to do that. But he's already there now. So it happened to work out for my daughter. She had 1 year left. She actually graduated in 3 years from Austin P, had 1 year eligibility left, hit the transfer portal. She's able to be at ETSU. She's playing this year. So for everybody that needs to move on from whatever your situation is, if you were in a situation that isn't working out for you, then you should be able to move on. If you are in a situation and you just want to run from it, that's totally different. If you're not getting your way, you pouting because you're not getting as many shots as you want. You feeling like, and this is the thing. If this is how I feel about it. If you start out at a smaller school and you go and you show that I'm good, I'm great, and then you feel like you can move to the next level, then by all means do so. And the coaches at that school should be helping you do it. When we talked, when Nala was going through this recruiting process the second time around and wound up at ECT, we talked to a lot of coaches. And a lot of coaches had kids that showed out the year before and that were moving on to bigger schools. And I heard one of the coaches say, like, hey, man, who am I to hold somebody like that back?
That's a good coach.
Go. Especially the money they're paying kids to come play now. Yeah. Go. Like, I'm not going to hold you back from that. I'll go ahead and recruit somebody else to come in and fill the spot. So I think it's good if you can play a level up, 2 levels up. If you can get to a Power 4, then by all means, you should use the transfer portal and go. Yeah. If you're in a situation where it's not good for you mentally because really not any fault of yours, you should be able to go. If you just trying to run to the next team because you being a jerk, so to speak, then you're gonna be a jerk wherever you go. Yeah. You're gonna be in the same situation wherever you go.
Very true.
And it was something that I wanted to say,
Sure.
Mike.
Yes, sir.
For all you parents and players that are in this recruiting process, it took me a while to figure this out. I was watching everybody's bench, and I think it might have been a UConn game I was watching it that it dawned on me. UConn, when you go to UConn, unless you are like one of the top players in the nation and nobody can do anything with you, whether you a freshman or whatever, and you come in and you just dogging everybody, you're not gonna play at UConn when you first go there. You're not. Like, you got Sarah Strong, she there now, but like nobody can do anything with her, so she's gonna play. You have All-Americans sitting on the bench at UConn. that are not going to play for maybe 2 years. But every time UConn does something good, they are jumping up and they are cheering. They are going out of their minds. And when something bad happens or if something's going on, they're talking to their teammates like backside, weak side. Well, she's open over here, corner, dip, get her hand up. They are staying locked in and active. So I'll tell you this. If you want to be recruited as a kid to play college basketball at any level, stay locked into the game. Support your teammates, whether you on the bench, whether you're in the game, and always remain locked in. Because what people used to always say, like, what are coaches looking for? What do they want? What do they want? And it took me that long to figure it out. They want somebody that's not going to be a cancer to their team, but somebody that's going to be great energy. Great energy. If you can score 30 points, they'll probably overlook your energy a little bit. But if you are a kid, especially if you're trying to get to a good program, they are looking for energy. They're looking for awesome energy. And if you can bring awesome energy, you're 3-4 steps ahead of everybody else. Because everybody doesn't do that. And if you think I'm lying, watch UConn next time you get a chance. Watch South Carolina next time you get a chance. Whatever is going on, them girls are on that bench going crazy for their team. Whether they haven't played a minute or whether they play most of the game, if they on the bench, they cheering. They locked in, they talking. And that's what coaches want, man. That's what they want.
Outstanding. Thank you so much. And here, I hope, parents, you understand that you have just listened to a father who proved that he's had success in the recruiting process. So whether your child is picking up a ball or preparing for college visits, your role as a parent absolutely matters. So from highlight reels to homework, from campus tours, campus visits, contract talks, parents like you are shaping the futures of your children. So keep listening to Recruiting from the Bleachers for real stories, practical strategies, and the inspiration you need to stay in the game. Please subscribe, share, and remember your voice from the bleachers can also echo to the professional level, even as Mr. Jakor has gone on to the pros as well. Just keep listening to Recruiting from the Bleachers. We'll see you next time.
And Mike, appreciate you having me.
That wraps up another episode of Recruiting from the Bleachers. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and I appreciate you tuning in. Be sure to join us next week for another insightful conversation. Stay connected with us on Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube at Recruiting from the Bleachers. Like, share, and follow to keep up with the latest updates. And don't hesitate to leave your comments and questions. We'd love to hear from you. For a deeper dive into the basketball recruiting process, check out our book, Basketball Recruiting, A Parent's Perspective, available now on Amazon.com. Parents, remember, from the bleachers to the big leagues to the boardroom, let's keep cheering and steering our student athletes towards success. We'll see you next time.